Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Flight 96 podcast. I'm your host, Four Horsemen, and today, this guy, I don't know how to necessarily introduce this dude because he's really good. That's the best way that I can describe this guy. He's 1/4 of the Four Horsemen. He's a Kansas City native. He reps YTG. He's had amazing performance after amazing performance. I've never seen this guy slack. He's always brought it 100% when it comes to anything that has to do with rapping, whether it be a cypher or whether it be a battle. I met this guy at No Mate, and we had a great conversation, and hopefully today I can continue this great dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone with us is A-Ward. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot, bro. Just enjoying this evening, man. Had to get some food, and yeah, man, just kicking it. How you been?
Oh man, it's been wonderful, man. What a great couple of months in battle rap it's been, actually.
Yeah, it's been very exciting, man. Very exciting.
Now when I asked about this interview, I made the mistake of asking you right before Geechee, and what was scary is that I didn't get a response. And then I saw a preview of your rounds versus Geechee. And I was like, this dude was in a dungeon somewhere perfecting these rounds because he... Can you talk, even though the footage isn't out, what, and from your perspective, what can you tell us about that Geechee battle? How did you feel about going into it? How do you feel about your material? How did you feel it went in your way?
No, I feel it went great. Probably some of my best materials to date. I told numerous people over and over, because, before the battle, everybody talks about how you're going to lose. I mean, Geechee's a fan favorite. Everybody loves Geechee, rightfully so. He's been doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's definitely the more popular artist. So I caught all kinds of tweets and social media stuff and just seeing people in person and saying, Geechee got you easy, this, that, and the third. So I told everybody, I said, if Geechee wins this battle, it'll be the best stuff he's ever written. And if he wins this battle, it'll be 2-1 edge. There's no way he can beat what I got for him, And that's how confident I was in my material, in my approach. And then he showed up, and he got beat pretty easily, actually. So.
Now, what's crazy is that you're a humble guy. I knew that about 3 minutes into our conversation when we met in Houston. You're a humble guy. So for you to say that you confidently beat somebody, you know what I'm saying, means something that you actually did. Because I watched, to prepare for this interview, because like I said, I've been really looking forward to it. I watched you versus DNA, you versus Cortez, and I just finished actually you versus Peanut. Those are my 3 favorite performances from you. And I want to speak about those and go in just kind of in depth on all those 3, because those are 3 different battles. I feel like in the Cortez battle you were more aggressive than I've ever seen you. I feel like in the DNA battle you were kind of on the ropes just a little bit, and then you continued to fight back and made it one of the best battles of that blackout. And then the Peanut was just you just being A-Ward and winning convincingly. So I want to start with the DNA battle. Did you feel like you were on the ropes after that first round? Because that's what I saw, just a little bit, being completely honest.
Yeah. So battling DNA, very difficult to prepare for DNA, because at that particular time, like the big thing on DNA was that he took so many battles all of the time, and he was on every league every week, and you kind of are trying to motivate yourself, but at the same time, like, I motivate myself in different ways. It's not always the opponent, It's like, oh, okay, I'm on Blackout. I'm in Toronto again. I'm on King of the Dot. I have different things to prove to people regardless of who's standing in front of me. Which is one reason why I just don't buy into the whole twerk. I have to be motivated for an opponent type thing. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
I find motivation elsewhere. So preparing for him was very difficult because I knew that I could outright him any day of the week. Like, I knew that that was very easy to do or whatever. But I didn't know, like, as far as rebuttals and different things, what he would approach the battle with. So obviously I won the toss, and he went first, and I because of the rebuttal side of it. And he did. He came out and he gave probably one of his best rounds. I would say probably top 5 best rounds in his King of the Dot career.
I believe that.
In his first round.
I believe that. Yeah. I agree.
And so I think, did I feel like I was against the ropes? I definitely felt like I was against the ropes, like in the building, with the crowd reaction and everything, because of how much they were eating up what he was saying. But I was still very, very confident in my material and what I wrote. And I'm like, you know what? Like, everything he said, there's nothing better than what I'm saying in my round. Now, I tell people this is the biggest battle of my career because it's what I learned from the most, as far as performing on a main stage.
Mm-hmm.
You can outright somebody, you can outwitty somebody, you can outdo all of that kind of stuff, but there's just so many intangibles that come into being a battle rapper. And DNA really, put on his, vet hat against me, and he really, his footwork, he closed off the ring well, and how he approached, how he moved back and forth, how he ran back, easy 4-bar setups to get the crowd to repeat, the exact same thing that he just said. I mean, those are just vet moves that create more crowd reaction for the same bar, but also give the appeal and the idea that you're continuing to gas it around, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And so so that DNA battle, I felt like after I got off stage, I felt like it was a very close battle, and I felt like that he edged me in the building, but it would be different on cam because people would see how layered some of my stuff was.
Yes, that's exactly what I got from it.
What's wild to me is after I got off the stage, Roan, who was the champion at the time, got up there and on live pay-per-view said, I edged it to A-Ward. I walked over to Chilla Jones, and Chilla was like, I got you 2-1. He got the first round. You got the second, and you edged the third. I was like, oh, cool. And then, Marv won. So I started getting, battle rappers telling me, oh, I got you edging it. It was close,
Wow.
But then when it came out on cam, I think, his following, his everybody just seeing, when you see DNA, oh, he's back, you get a little bit more of a feel.
Yes.
Everybody seems to think that, what he did was enough to get the win. I'm not mad at that. I tell everybody I outrode him every round, and he definitely – kind of put me on the ropes a little bit with some of the intangibles as to what he does. But
it's interesting because I watched that battle, and I feel like sometimes, of course, being in the building is different. Of course, we know that, but I could kind of feel the energy kind of when I first watched that battle because there was just so much crowd reaction, not just from DNA, but from your rounds too. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that was the most reaction, from that crowd, from that card, except for Chilla's third round, I guess you can say, against Jonai. And
yeah, we both were placed in the same spot too. So ours was day one, right? And I think that DNA and I went right before Chilla and Jonai, or maybe Chilla and Jonai was day 2, but we were both either the second battle of the night or the third. Which was just prime for crowd reaction.
Exactly.
The first battles were, opener type battles, and then that second and third are okay, guys, give us something. So it was perfect placement too for when we battled.
Do you side question? Do you think that actually being a main event kind of it hurts you just a little bit, just because of the how tiring the crowd may be? Because we've seen it multiple times, but. From your perspective, because the next battle that I wanted to talk about was you versus Cortez, but I felt like that was a small room, kind of.
Right.
So you guys didn't really have that much to worry about when it comes to whether the crowd is going to participate in this battle. But you've seen big stage battles and how it's how the crowd's tiring. I mean, I was tired when Surf and Nitty happened at Nome, so I was kind of like, man, I wonder if the crowd's going to be still with it, and they were. So, my question to you is that does being the main event, does going last on a card hurt you more than you think, or does it still have that effect? Oh, okay, I'm the main event. They came to see me, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, it does kind of hurt you. I think that if common sense says that if the place is selling alcohol. If it's an evening event that goes goes into like the wee hours of like 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that there are just huge factors that, you know, that are there. You've either been up all day, you're already kind of winding down, you know, you might be a little bit, you know, tipsy or whatever, and a little bit more impatient. I just think it's the league's job to really understand the importance of a main event and create the card, whether it be maybe just 5 battles or create the card, you know, during the day or, you know, in a specific venue that you know that you can get through the rounds. Because, like, I mean, imagine going to an NFL football game and tailgating. Say you get there at 9 a.m. and there's nowhere to sit. You know, like you can't bring chairs, and you're standing up and you're tailgating all day. You're drinking all day. Then you get to the game and you're drinking some more. Usually by the third quarter, you're probably inebriated, not paying attention to the game, and exhausted, and don't want to walk back to your car afterwards. You know, and like that's kind of like the feeling of like doing that at a battle rap event.
That's crazy. That's a weird way to put it.
Yeah, and it's nobody can sit down. The only thing you can do, because there's really no re-entry, is you can walk over to the bar, and then you're, you know, so it's just not very conducive for a 6-hour event, you know. And a lot of battle rap events last that long. To just become some kind of, you know, way of going about it so that you don't have those Hitman Holla at Rock situations.
Yes.
You know, Disaster and Oxy, I believe they were the last battle of the LA card. And
yes.
The crowd, Oxy's star power, obviously, you know, with the crowd being predominantly Russian, you know, like it didn't really matter. They just wanted to see him, you know. So that main event actually went over very well in regards to the pace of the event.
Yes.
But sometimes it's hit or miss, man. Sometimes it is.
Now going to the Cortez battle. I watched this on cam, and I was like, it was just like, it's battles like these that make me love battle rap, because it's literally 2 guys because I believed Cortez's rounds were really good, and I believed your rounds were really good. And the fact that when that battle got announced, I was like, I had no doubts that this battle was going to be good, because I know both of you are going to be 3 rounds prepared and be ready to go. So I watched your first round, and I think, and hopefully you remember this. I think we were outside of Nome, and we were talking about the unload, reload, switch the laundry bar.
Yeah.
So I watched it over, and I was like, okay, this makes sense now. I remember what you said, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. Now, I understand that you got some flack for that. Of course, you know, you being a Christian rapper and doing and using gun, but it wasn't a gun bar. You explained it to me how it wasn't a gun bar.
Yeah.
So I was kind of of course.
Yeah, you know, the context of it just wasn't a gun bar. I mean, just because I mentioned it, you know, or just because you know, doesn't constitute it being a gun bar. You know.
Yes.
In a sense of hypocrisy. So you could say, oh, it was a gun bar. Oh, I said a gun in the bar. I get it. But it wasn't like that's a contradictory to your lifestyle, or that's hypocrisy, because there, in no way, shape, or form was I saying, like, all right, forget what I'm about. This is what I'm going to do to you.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. There was no indirection. There was no indirection, if that's the right word to use. So, how did you, okay, so I watched this, and I kind of watched you guys go back and forth. It has a ton of replay value, and I watch it. I've watched it at least probably 3 to 4 times, and the more I watch it, the more I understand the bars, because you know, the more you watch a battle, the more you kind of, you know, catch more stuff. Yeah. So I watched Cortez's 3rd round, and to me, even though you guys are a brand new group, sort of, he to me has the best Four Horsemen scheme. Even though the credibility of it goes away because you didn't leave YTG, which made that took a lot of points away from him. But for the creativity and for him to do like the Arn Anderson and Street Hymns thing, like that was spot on. Yes, that was spot on. The Loso Hitman Hart and him going to Ric Flair thing, that was kind of cool. Yeah. And then and then you being compared to Chris Benoit, snapping necks. Like, I watched that again because I watched it early. Like I said, I watched it earlier today, and I was like, that was the best Four Horsemen scheme. But how did you?
Yeah.
But and when you reacted talking about I never left YTG, and I was like, okay, that right. Yes, and I figured out you did. My question to you is, was that
no, I didn't leave YTG.
You didn't. But my question is,
no, okay, gotcha.
No, what my question was is that how did you like feel like afterwards? Like, did you feel like you got that round because that scheme necessarily didn't hit because of the truth behind it, or did you at least appreciate the creativity?
Yeah, so one thing I always do is the creativity or the actual bar itself. Like I always can appreciate that. The thing that got me wasn't I believe that there are tons of fake angles and things that are not true in battle rap.
Absolutely.
I mean, if that's the angle you want to do, fine. If you can convince the crowd, you're even better. Like if you can convince the crowd of something and to rock with it or whatever, like my mom's not a lesbian, but that doesn't work around a ridiculous angle on it. You know what I mean? Like because it's battle rap. Some of these guys don't have guns so big as this, that, and the third either.
Exactly.
Around because of So here was my thing. In King of the Dot, we do 2-minute rounds to 2:30. I think our rounds were like around 2:30. I felt like Cortez's third round, when he decided to do the entire Four Horsemen, that he used about 70% of his round about my group and rather than about me.
Yes.
In a URL round, if he was to shorten that to 16 bars and it's maybe like 25% of his round, cool. But I just didn't feel like that enough of it, since it was like 70% of his round, one, I was just kind of like, it's a little bit of a reach to me personally, but if the crowd rocks with it, they rock with it.
Yes.
So there's just a couple different factors. Then he stumbled on one of the Chris Benoit bars. He didn't land it, correctly, which is tough. I mean, when you're trying to really communicate an angle and you stumble on one of the key bars, even though it wasn't like, he just kind of didn't get it out right. That's tough. And yeah, so I didn't think that angle itself was strong enough to beat, especially the way I ended my third with the
yes.
in the sky, that's how a dream works, and even the transparent bar about sometimes when I say God is good on the inside, I struggle to believe it. Like those are some of the most quoted bars from the battle.
Yes, absolutely.
I started out my third round just like with the comedy, but just the difference of having a Chrome and a Shoddy with me, like that stuff's creative too. So I just didn't think what he did was enough to overtake that, all based on rapping about me and three other people, And but I did, like I said, I liked some of the lines that he said. He also said a line about Peter in the Bible when the chicken was calling, and I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that was a fire line.
Now, I talked to I had Math Hoffa on this show, and I previously talked to him about when you're battling, when you're standing in front of somebody's material and someone rocks the room, you sometimes and what kind of is a pet peeve of mine. I see that it's rocking the room. When you get a loud reaction, you did something right. To me, I feel like you did something right. So when you see that, and then you see a guy like kind of like nodding and off, like that wasn't fire. Like I'm not telling you to big up this man like every good bar.
Right.
I'm just saying like okay, respect. Like he rock. Like at least show him respect. Like okay, be like okay, he just rocked the room. Like. Okay, okay, we got to fight. You know what I'm saying? So, do you feel like that? Do you agree with that statement?
I do sometimes. There's things that, and you say rock the room, like there's a talent in getting everybody to react.
Yes.
There's some kind of talent there.
Yes.
Dot literally started out and said, "I dropped classic after classic." There's,
yes.
And it rocked the room.
Yes.
So there's some kind of weird talent there. I've had people that hit me with the same kind of like whack offering play, get at them and even, and all these bars that I literally hate because I hear over and over and over.
Yes.
And crowds go nuts because do? I roll my eyes, like I like shake my head or whatever, you know, and it could possibly look like poor sportsmanship or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm letting y'all know, like, you guys can cheer for that kind of stuff, but that is not impressive to me whatsoever. So I kind of believe in my third round, like, as he started this whole, like, you left YPG thing, I'm thinking, like, this is so silly. Like, you know, like, I didn't know how he's executing the round. You know, I didn't know how it would come full circle or whatever. But I'm like, man, this dude reached in the first round talking about a Facebook post or whatever as an angle at the end of his first. And he's reaching in the third. And one of my biggest frustrations is I always battle people. When I battle people, I can't wait to hear what they have, their material, right? Like, for weeks leading up to the battle, I'm like, man, I can't wait to hear what Cortez wants to speak about.
I like that mentality.
There's some stuff that we got to speak about. So I'm prepping like, man, I wonder what he wants to speak about. So part of my third, when I'm like, you know, God is good, I struggle to believe it, was defense, thinking, okay, maybe he's going to go like the route of like, you know, you always say God is good, but this kind of stuff happens or this kind of stuff happens, you know, like that's like a kind of an angle round.
Which would have been interesting.
Which when he uses the angle that is not true and is a little bit of a reach or whatever, I'm just like, really? Like, this is what we had to speak about? Like, there's nothing to speak about. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think that I was kind of already turned off to his third. So that's why there's a few times in his third where I'm just kind of like rolling my eyes like, all right, Cord, I got you.
So, when you now, we talk about the Cortez battle. Another battle that I did want to talk to, but just for one thing, because I want to commend you. This is my first battle ever seeing you. You versus Real Deal. Real Deal was my first battle ever seeing you. And to me, like, and people hate when you throw around this word like it's nothing, but to me that was a classic. You versus Real Deal was a classic to me. Like, and it wasn't the it was of course the bars, because both of y'all had amazing, you know what I'm saying, you took my Real Deal, you took my style and you holy watered it down. Whoo, that was different.
Real Deal probably has 2 or 3 of like the top 5 bars that have ever been said to me, like in his rounds. Like if I had to make like a top 5 list of bars that I had to stand in front of, like that holy watered it down, and we're the 92 Dream Team. That makes you the white Christian here to carry our bag.
Yes. Yes.
Like that bar, like those are 2 of my favorite bars that have ever been, like, I've ever stood in front of. Like it was that was a freaking good battle.
And I felt like I saw the look on your face. I was like, he's having fun with this battle. Like like you guys were having fun up there. But I want to talk about the peanut battle now. You had 2 fights with Cortez and DNA, which, I mean, of course you should, as you should. They're both big time vets. Peanut has, of course, been around since the grind time era. He even battled battled DNA, I believe, outside, I think somewhere. So I watched this battle, and you did something that is really hard to pull off in a battle, but it helped you. It made you look even stronger, which you basically stripped Peanut's power away from him, being his multis. And all you said was go ahead and spit your multis. That's all you did. It's all you did was you tell him was go spit your multis, and that's exactly what he did. And as I watched it, to me, I'm like, he just said what your opponent just said what you were gonna do, and now this doesn't work. Like, this doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? He had a couple of good lines, believe me, he did. But I just felt like you were just the better rapper. Point blank, period.
Yeah. Going into that was, Pino was a friend of mine. That's the first time I battled like somebody I knew like before. Like, we really like linked up at Blackout. We hung out. You know, like he just, I talked to him during NBA playoffs and stuff, and he's a good dude. I really like Peanut. I didn't want to battle Peanut, but King of the Dot was not getting me a battle, and I had just had to sit out Massacre because Jonah declined to battle me at Massacre. And I was like,
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. So Jonah declined to battle me at Massacre, not the past one, but the year before. So they couldn't get me a match on Massacre. So then anybody to battle me. So like we took that battle on 3 weeks notice.
Oh, okay.
And since he was my friend, I had to literally tell myself I need a clear win. Like I'm coming off Real Deal and DNA. I'm coming off great showings, but still people are saying, well, he's arguably, two debatables. You can arguably say he hasn't won, on the main stage yet or whatever. And I'm like, this is getting old. I'm giving you great, content, but so it's like, all right, so I literally had to convince myself to hate Peanut. So you my aggression stepped up against Peanut tremendously from DNA.
Yes,
and it was just
absolutely.
I had to go in there and kind of bully him, And then I think one thing you'll notice about me is I don't think people have figured me out yet. I don't think they can say there's a weak spot.
That's
in what I do.
That's true, and I say the same thing about Loso. I say the same thing about Loso.
Angles or schemes or punches or aggression. You've seen me bark on people. You've seen me strip Peanut of his style.
Yes.
You've seen me go up there and literally double scheme against DNA and run that back against Real Deal and DNA
and Cortez.
I got, the humor side of me, and Cortez. Yeah, I got the humor side of me, with the parachute bars against Real Deal and
that was funny.
Just different there's really not a style that you can really say Pokemon, this lightning Pokemon can't affect this, there's nothing you can do, and that's what I was really trying to just continue to show off, is just to be very, very incognito about how I'm going to beat every opponent,
And do you feel like do you feel like you confidently are undefeated?
Confidently undefeated. I've had 17 battles, and I feel like the only battle where I would listen to someone saying I lost clearly is DNA.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I still don't believe I did.
It was a great battle, though. It was a great battle, though, to me.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that don't believe I did, and plenty of battle rappers that I hold, at a high standard who said that they had me winning. So, but I think that out of 17 battles, the only battle that I feel like anybody can confidently say that I lost or that I would even listen to the argument would be DNA.
Okay, all right. In a wrestling reference, DNA is your Brock Lesnar to your Undertaker, basically.
Right, yeah.
Yes, the one in your streak. Now, I want to talk about Four Horsemen. These guys, you, Loso, Saga, and Street Hymns, have came together. And you guys made it clear that while of course all four of y'all are very talented battle rappers, you guys also are doing stuff way outside of it, and just do it as kind of like a I'm trying to think of the best word to describe it. I guess you can say kind of like a just kind of a group that wants to just make the hip hop culture just better, and I'm all on board for that. Anything that helps this culture reach the next level, I am all for. So I went through and I've kind of looked and kind of made assumptions of kind of like what kind of makes you guys different from each other. You know what I'm saying? Besides the obvious. You guys all come from very different backgrounds. I mean, you're from Kansas City, Loso's from Florida, Street Hymns is from basically almost close to where I'm from, Texas, and Saga is from New York. So, I want to know who made the initial who reached out first to make this Four Horsemen thing happen? Who was the brainchild?
Well, I would say Street Hymns and Saga, kind of. Street Hymns has always been kind of like the glue. Like, everybody personally in our own careers have always had a great relationship with Street Hymns. I've known Street Hymns for probably 7 or 8 years, before I even started battling.
Okay.
I didn't see Saga and Loso until battle rap. So me and Street Hymns have always been cool. Street Hymns met, started after Saga started, knew Saga, chopped it up with Saga, Loso started. Street Hymns built that bridge too. And then he kind of introduced us all to each other. And so as we began battle rapping, not as the Four Horsemen, I personally could tell that there was just some jealousy and envy creeping up in my life, like in battle rap. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, these other 3 Christians, like, oh, they might be getting a better battle than me, or I might have to fight to be the better one, or this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, that's not a characteristic of me, and that's not a characteristic of a Christian. I don't want that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I really challenged us to just kind of get in a group and just be, you know, in constant communication with each other and keeping each other lifted up and in prayer and, like, just as friends, just so that we could make sure that we were, you know, not ever competing against each other or whatever got to the point where we had ill feelings or were dissing each other, because that would just be such a bad look for the faith in itself. You know?
Yes, absolutely.
So once we started building together, I believe it was Street and Saga. It might have been Saga that came up with the idea of like the name of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But we were all kind of in a group and everything and talking and chatting and stuff like months before the Four Horsemen came out. But it might have been Saga that came up with a name for it. But definitely, I just really credit Street in regards to how like pure and genuine he kept his friendships with all 3 of us, and like just always wanted the best for all of us, and really kind of helped plug us together, because there were some different kind of, I won't say riffraff, but just different opinions that I had maybe of a Loso, and that Loso had of Saga, and Saga of Loso, you know, and me. So there was different opinions that we all had, you know, and Street just did a great job of kind of bringing us all together and being like, yo, we're in this together, you know.
And what's crazy about all 4 of y'all is that I feel like y'all's pens, just y'all's pens, just by themselves, like, are ridiculous. Like, y'all have line, like when you think of A Ward, of course you think of the breech birth. To me, the breech birth. When you go into that thing, when you think of when I think of Loso, I think of the what is now known as the first ever Christian pocket tap against Bad News. When I think of Street Hymns, I think of Look Both Ways Before You Cross Me.
Right.
And then when I think of Saga,
right?
yes. I love it. I wonder where I heard that from. And what was crazy, yeah, hey, and what was funny about that is that Aver bigged him up for that. To me, on camera, on Champion, Aver bigged him up for that, and I just kind of
heard it. I was like, yeah, that's dope. Within the context of it being just like street, I am the streets and stuff. Like, I'm like, that's dope. I'm not the kind of person that's always like, you know, like, yo, you did something, this, that, and the third. I'm just like, I just want people to see that, like, that certain people say things and it's dope, and other people that are just that much more talented writers have been saying stuff way better than that in every battle for a long time. You know what I mean?
What was crazy about Street Hymns is that I watched him versus Riggs, and he like literally I've never heard of a double scheme at the same time, where he did it was an oil and snake scheme in the same thing, and I was like, I've never seen that before. Now, you guys' pins are just ridiculous, and when I get to Saga, of course, now I think of the Bill Cosby line against B Magic at Survivor Series. Dude, I walk around my house saying that stuff is crazy. So
that's one that sticks with you.
Yes. So I want to get to you versus you doing a PG. Apparently you and Loso have started up this riffraff about you guys doing about going to URL and not doing a PG. Okay. It actually was just Loso and B Dot, I think, was that started the whole conversation, and then you got added to it. Now, I have my own solution. But I want to ask your opinion first about the PG process.
Right.
How do you and what you think about it? So, so how do you feel about the PG process now? Because I feel like the PGs are like really like are actually cool to watch now. Like, I never wanted to watch the PGs back then, but now, like, definitely, I'm like, okay, I'm interested now. So what do you think about the PG process as a whole?
There's a lot more quality PGs that are coming out here as of late, probably in the last 6 to 8 months. My whole thing is, and I tell people this all the time, what I've put into battle rap, one, I'm not buying into, and I'm not going to, quote-unquote, work for or be a part of somebody who wants to tell me everything that I've done doesn't matter until they are a part of my career. You know what I mean?
I understand that completely.
that's just not going to happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I put way too much into this, and if that's the attitude you have, then you really don't care about me as a person, an artist, or a battler, you know? But I understand for branding why you have to pretend like that's the only thing, you know, you're the only thing that matters. So I get it.
Yes.
But behind the scenes, when we're booking things and when we're in discussion and stuff like that, or when we're communicating, like, I cut all the pride. Talk to me straight up. You know what I mean? Two is there's just three levels as a battler that you look at when you're battling. You're looking at what event are you on,
Mm-hmm.
who are you battling,
Mm-hmm.
and how much you're getting paid.
Okay.
And those are really like big things in regards to every battle that you take. I took Peanut because I was battling on the same event as Iron Solomon, A-Verb, Oxymyron, and Disaster. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like Peanut's name wasn't necessarily there. And, you know, I got paid a decent amount for maybe my third King of the Dot battle or whatever. But I took it for you. So in taking a PG, where I'm at now, I basically have to sacrifice the event. I have to sacrifice the name. And I have to sacrifice all of the money. And I'm like, that's three levels of like sacrifice that you're making me, you know, do, and I'm just saying meet me halfway, you know?
Yeah.
Like, put me on a good event and let
Yes.
me open it.
Now.
Let me open it against a good name,
Yeah.
or whatever, and I'll sacrifice the money side. But I'm not going to battle Joe Schmo on the Proving Grounds Volume 3 in Richmond, you know, in a hotel room, you know, with 17 people. You know, that's not gonna happen. I'm not wasting my time.
Now, my solution is this. Now, I'm putting that out into the universe because, like I said, I'm for this culture. I want this culture to be better, and I feel like this could happen to settle everything, especially in yours and this other person who I'm going to bring into the fold. Now, I'm pretty sure that URL is going to be doing more traveling, during the next couple of events down the road. I think they're going back. They're going back to New York for this adjustment card, which I would love to see what that card is about. And I'm very interested to see what that's about. But this is what I think. I don't think it's gonna happen on a Summer Madness, but I could see it happening at a Gnome, or maybe. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have a problem opening up a Survivor Series too, either.
Yeah, or a Born Legacy.
Or a Born Legacy. So, here's what I think, people. You know what I'm saying? B-Dot and Loso basically made it to where you can have main stage PGs, okay? Against really good opponents. Because as many people, and to people who haven't seen the Loso and Scotty battle, Scotty was not terrible. Me and A-Ward talked about this. Scotty was not terrible. He was not terrible. And B-Dot versus EK was one of the best battles of that year, to me, personally.
Yeah.
So there's possible of great battles happening. There's for these PGs. Now, I want A-Ward in a PG on a main stage. It doesn't matter where. You can put it in Atlanta. You can put it in New York. You can put it in wherever. I think A-Ward will gladly travel to wherever for this battle, which I hope he is open to it. Yeah. You put A-Ward in a PG on a main stage versus Bad News.
Yeah, I remember. I think I've seen you tweet that out.
I want to see that. Because it's going to, and people are saying, oh, but he's already, but Bad News doesn't have to battle A-Ward because he battled Loso. Those are two completely different people and two different types of content.
Yeah, but, Bad News is he already did his PG. I think Bad News has already done a PG.
Okay.
He did one a long time ago before he got locked up. I'm almost positive of it.
Okay, I think that would happen. I think that should actually happen because he's open. He said he was open to doing one. He said he was open to doing one on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, in Bad News' cases, he probably has to do one just because, like, he kind of has to, like, there's certain types of PGs that URL recruits. Like, they recruit people that they know are going to have to do about 2 or 3 PGs before they get on a card.
Yes.
And then they recruit people that they will literally tell you, like, hey, you're one and done. You're done with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're, and so yeah, like that's definitely a matchup that, Bad News has his own brand. He's been groomed by Bullpen. He's battled major people. He's got a name for himself. All that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
That's all I asked for.
And of course, I've tweeted this out a long time ago. I'm solving all of battle rap's problems right now. You want to do you want A Ward to do a PG? Put him against Bad News and let him open up a card. It'll work. And if you don't know if you don't know who Head Ice should face for the King of the Dot title, why don't you just put A Ward versus Chilla Jones in a judge battle?
Right.
First of all,
we try to do that too, man. You're getting all the secrets. We try to, not Chilla, but so I get ducked at Massacre every year. So last Massacre, I was supposed to battle Pass for a number one.
Man, they don't want A Ward at Massacre, don't they? They don't want A Ward in Boston, don't they?
Bro, people don't want to battle me, man. Like, I mean, I get it though. Like, I mean, even this whole thing with Sharon, I'm going back and forth with Sharon. You know.
That would be interesting. I want that at Blackout. I want that in Canada.
Yeah, they don't want to battle me. It's just not. I don't know. It's not conducive for them yet because I have not been stamped as like a person who generates a heavy amount of views. And I definitely will win or make it debatable. So it's not an easy win, and it's not, one of these names or whatever getting hundreds of thousands of views.
Now, does that bother you?
It's a brand thing. Does it bother me? It bothers me because as a competitor, if I look up and I see somebody that's going to make me write better than I ever have and is literally trying his best and doing well and stuff like that, like, if I've made it to a certain level, I feel like I'll take the battle. But I understand from a brand standpoint of why you wouldn't. It does nothing for them in a sense. And so that's why I have very slim pickings on like kind of who will accept me. And like that's why it's always great to have the Chillas, the Real Deals, the Thesauruses, the Cortezes, the DNAs. Like these guys, they're not up on this high horse. Like, no, I don't come down here to battle. You guys, type mentality.
And I think that's what the game needs. I have a whole found like I think the last over 2 years I've actually built a whole new respect for Cortez because of how he's giving guys a shot. I mean, and some.
Don't call it what it is, bro. Like they don't want to pass the torch. Like let's get it. Like let's understand something. Like. These guys that are still like the dopest in battle rap or whatever, or headlining the event, outside of a handful of people, are the same ones that have been doing it for 10 years.
Yes.
And like that's all they have in battle rap, and they're not ready to just kind of be like, all right, the next wave of greats are here. Let's battle them. Let's let them build themselves up. Let's provide a platform and generate views based on both of our followings. They don't want to pass that torch. It's just they want to keep us as crabs in a bucket. So that they can still get the money and get the looks and everything. And then that's why you find Sharon taking Averb or Sharon taking Sirius Jones or, this other big name taking this other big name. And you're like, okay, this battle's really kind of like an average battle with 500,000 views. And then you have this freaking me and Real Deal at 120,000. That's like the best battle of the year.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's like, that bothers me a little bit because you see a battle like Saint Mike versus Danny Myers, which you were there for, and you see that, and whether how many times Saint Mike may have stumbled, that was to me was a great battle. I liked watching that battle.
Oh, yeah.
I loved watching that battle. But the fact that it still has, I guess you could say a small amount of views kind of bothers me a little bit. Same thing with Loso and B-Dot. I feel like Loso and B-Dot should be at 1 million right now. Easy. To me. Because because the people, that is literally two of the best up-and-comers battling out, like to me, a big stage. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that, and plus the content in that battle too. Like the way that Loso was rapping in that battle, the way that Loso was just. He was talking down to B-Dot, and this was the first time I've ever seen B-Dot on the ropes too. So it was interesting to see. That battle not necessarily get the view number that it deserves, and then you see what's crazy is that Murder Mook and Averb is actually not is I think it just reached close to 900,000, and it still hasn't, because I would think that it'd be at 1 million by now. So
I would have thought it would have hit 2.5.
And that's
within the first two or 3 weeks.
So, and that's another age question that I think everybody's been asking you. But who did you have winning, Mook or Verb?
I judged it a little bit different. had Mook clearly winning the first.
Okay.
And I had the second being a debatable round, and the third being like, I don't even call it a debatable round. It's just it's a round you really just can't call because of how the time limits went.
Exactly.
So what I did was I was like, you know what? Averb is the only person that got a clear round, you know. And so when it comes down to it, like I feel like Averb was in New York. He got a clear round. He had some of the best material of the battle, and you know, if people want to go by the round 1, round 2, round 3 system and say it's 2-1 debatable either way, that's fine. But I gave it to Verb just based off the fact that he actually, you know, is the only one that got a clear round.
It's weird because when I watched Rare Breeds and they said that they were doing Mook versus Verb, like I think it was the 3rd or 4th battle that happened, like right in the middle of the card. I applauded ARP because he was like, all right, I ain't waiting, like I want to see this now, and right. I also was kind of like, okay, but you have, I believe, Ill Will and Big T was right after that. I think.
No, I actually think Pat Stay and Danny Myers went after.
Okay, yeah. So it's Pat Stay and Danny Myers right after that, and then Ill Will and Big T. People still made a lot of noise for Danny Myers and Pat Stay, and then you have Ill Will and Big.
That's a testament to, like, honestly, bro. That was like that's all them. You know, like they should have got the same treatment Ill Will and Big T did. But Pat Stay and Danny Myers were just better battlers that night than Ill Will and Big T.
That was like, crazy.
They did get a bad crowd or whatever, but if you're really good, you can still make a bad crowd an okay crowd, and that's what Pat Stay and Danny Myers did.
And I applaud them for that because, you know, they both had great lines. You know, it's still, to me it's a debatable battle. Pat Stay was Pat Stay in that element of itself. So, but to me, like right now the state of battle rap is very exciting to me. It's very exciting because you got right now you have King of the Dot Decade coming, which is, I'm guessing it's confirmed that it's an event. And I'm not asking you to give me any I'm not asking you to give me any inside scoop because I wish I could. I wish I could ask for it, but you know, I can't.
It's an event and it's in 2018.
Nice. That's all I need to know. So, and I want it, and then you have Summer Madness 8. Which is going to be in London. The first time URL's been out of the country. This is actually this won't be the first time that URL has actually had a battle in London, because I don't know if anybody remembers this, but Shocks the Rebel did a PG in England that dropped on the URL channel. Oh. Yeah, that dropped on the URL. Nice. Yeah, and that was a long time ago. But so yeah, Shocks the Rebel and Gizmo did the first ever URL English PG. So it was crazy. So and then you have John the Don and Hollow the Don about to go at it, and their promotions all getting hilarious to me. So what is the one thing that you are most likely that you can talk about, because I know you probably have things coming up that you can't. I mean, of course, I almost forgot, you have Bill Collector.
Yeah, I got Bill Collector.
You have Bill Collector. Let's talk about it. Like, you versus...
Yeah, we got Bill Collector. That's in 3 weeks. Yeah, it's a little over 3 weeks.
That's in Philly, right?
Yep, in Philly. Took that battle for a few reasons. One, Young Zim is a buddy of mine who he's battling Big Cannon on the card. You might be familiar with him from Grind Time days.
Okay.
He's also a born-again Christian, so he's, just a solid dude. We've been in communication ever since I started battling and stuff. He's just been a huge encouragement, but he owns that league. So when he reached out, I definitely always wanted to work with him. Two, Bill Collector is, like, top 7 of my favorite of all time.
Okay.
Like, just that whole period when he was, like, the most entertaining man in battle rap. Like, I was such a huge Bill Collector fan. So the battle is kind of like a bucket list battle for me. And 3, my hopes are I'm flying in a little bit early to Philly, so my hopes are that I can go join Champion for a couple episodes.
Ooh, I like it. I like it because, and shout out to Champion, shout out to Jay Black and Tech9 for becoming the ESPN of battle rap. Those guys, like Jay Black is literally the reason why I got into the battle rap blogosphere, like legitimately. Like if like he's a pioneer. Tech Nine is a veteran. Whatever you got to say about him, he's a veteran, and I feel like his opinion is respected for what it is. And
right.
So besides that, you know, I mean, you got Bill Collector in 3 weeks in Philly, which that's a big risk. I mean, that's the man's hometown, basically. I mean, he is from Norristown, but still. So are you expecting? Do you want that entertaining old school Bill? Is that what you're hoping for when this battle comes?
Yeah. Nobody's ever really took a humorous approach against me. Like I haven't battled too many people who kind of like make fun or just funny, make the crowd laugh. And Bill Collector is great at that. So I'm hoping for some good jokes, some good like charisma, energy, and different things like that. Bill Collector takes a lot of battles. If you notice, I think he's had 4 battles drop in like the last 2 months.
I know, and it's crazy.
So I don't know where his pen's going to be in regard to writing some of his best material ever. But at the same time, when you're writing for a Christian, there's a lot of bars and a lot of creative ideas that pop in your head the minute that you're writing for one of us, because we're just different. So I don't doubt that he's probably got some great ideas or whatever. And I'm just going to try and come in there and do exactly what I always do.
And that's what I hope you do.
Yeah, meet new people, give the crowd some entertainment, and try to come up with some new memorable material.
Hopefully some new Bill flips. That'd be interesting. I've never.
Yeah. I'm not a big name flipper, just because of how easy they come to your head. I just automatically assume somebody's already seen them.
Yes.
But I do have a few different ideas on how to go at Bill and how to go at Bill Collector and different things like that.
This is gonna be interesting. I'm actually really excited to see this battle, though. Like, to think of it's like. It's because of course you have a serious demeanor when it comes to battling, and then also Bill Collector has a very non-serious demeanor when it comes to battling. So it's like yin and yang. So it's gonna be really, I'm really interested. Whenever that drops, man, I'm really interested. Or if they have a pay-per-view, I'll definitely.
Right.
I would definitely.
I'm sure they'll probably do a VOD. It's a good card.
So I would, and plus I think Marv One's on that card. The return of Mo Dirty's on that card. Quest for Cody's on that card. And this is on Crack. This is on Crack City Battle League, or Crack Liberty Bell.
Crack Liberty Bell.
Yes, so it looks like a good card. I mean, I'm really excited for some of these battles. Of course, I love watching Marv One and Quest. I mean, who doesn't? Because those are guys I think Marv One's the most. I think Marv One's one of the most funniest dudes in battle rap. Period. Especially if you just get him off camera, just talking about whatever. I just think he's hilarious.
Oh yeah, hilarious.
Last thing before we wrap up, you have I pay attention to your tweets. One of the very few people who I do. You talk about I mean, of course, we saw the Eminem Kamikaze album, and then I believe you talked about how Royce was your favorite rapper. He's my favorite rapper. Yeah. Okay.
Royce is my favorite rapper.
So I want to ask you about the two. They're actually, I think, like the last 3 albums he actually put out in like probably like 2 years maybe, because he put out Prime 2, and then he put out Book of
Layers.
Yes, and then he put out Book of Ryan. Now, as a person, as a person who I love hip hop to the core, and I've heard all 3 of these. My personal favorite to me is Book of Ryan. That's my favorite Royce album.
Yeah.
So, just off the cuff, what's your favorite Royce album and Royce song? They don't have to be on the same album.
Oh man. Dude, honestly, I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with you in regards to Book of Ryan. I think that's probably my favorite album. I mean, his mixtapes and different things like that. The bar exams, like I love those. But as far as an album is concerned, yeah, man, I really like Book of Ryan. And as far as songs, probably Strong Friend, Power, or Cocaine. Like those 3 songs. Are probably the top 3 there. There's I don't don't know, man. There's just so much. I usually remember a lot of Royce verses, a lot of mixtape stuff, and different things. But yeah, I'd agree with you in regards to Book of Ryan.
Boblo Boat's my favorite song off that album, hands
Really?
down. It really is.
Yeah. I like Bob the Boat, but I think it was dropped as a single. It was dropped as a single, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. I usually kind of like listen to him a couple times, but then I go find like the meat of the album, but yeah, I do like Bob the Boat too.
Boblo Boat to me is because I never would have thought that I would get J. Cole and Royce the 5'9" on a song. I just that never popped into my mind, and I was like, when I heard it, I was like, this is exactly what I wanted it to sound like. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then if you I don't know if you've watched the video, the video is just, I think it really represents of what the actual like kind of like song is about, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If any of you guys listening, have seen the Boblo Boat video, go watch it. Like, the song will mean a lot more to you if you watch it. Like, it would make more. The song in the video kind of makes more sense. But A-Word, man, this was a great conversation. Again, I just wanted to continue the dialogue.
I appreciate you hitting me up, man.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Of course, like I said, I wanted to just further the dialogue that we had at Nome. That was your first URL event. Well, that was my first ever like battle rap event. Period.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a really good time.
Yeah, man.
Last thing before we let you go, there was an argument outside between you and Big Cannon, and I remember it vividly, about you battling Young Cannon, and Big Cannon thinks that Young Cannon can beat you. Would you be interested in taking that battle?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I take that battle. I take it on Guerrilla Warfare. I might even take it as my first URL battle. I take it as maybe even a second URL battle. I take it on King of the Dot. I take it, just about wherever. Young Cannon's a reputable name. He brings energy. He doesn't choke.
Absolutely.
I just don't think there's any way he could beat me.
I can see it, man.
Yeah, I don't think he does anything better than me, except maybe just, I don't know, he might have more punchlines. He does have more punchlines in his material than me.
Which is crazy. He just keeps going.
I think that it's more like, it's very, very hit or miss. I mean, he does have some spectacular material, but that's about it. But.
And we usually close these out with these guys, or with you telling the audience a song of yours, whether it's you've been listening to it recently, whether it's a favorite song of that you remember from your memories. What is a song that you want whether it's a song of yours, whether it's a song of somebody else's, it doesn't matter. What song would you want the listeners to go out and listen to today as the song of the day?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Put me on a spot. I want you to go out and listen to a song. What song do I want you to listen to? Wow. There's so much.
Or in this case, maybe a battle.
Oh, if you want to watch a battle? If you're going to watch a battle.
Whether it be you in it or somebody else in it.
Well, you can go watch me and St. Mike. We didn't talk about that. That's probably my top 2 favorite battles ever.
St. Mike is so good. So good.
Yeah, and then if you're going to listen to a song, go listen to Meet the Parents by Jay-Z. That's probably one of my favorite storytelling songs ever. So.
One of my friends that has actually been really cool to me in the industry, and his name is Kent Money, who has worked closely with Hit Boy, who has made songs for Jay-Z, Kanye West, and everybody. He told me that Meet the Parents is just a classic hip hop record. Like he's told me that over and over, that it's a classic hip hop record. Blueprint 2 is one of my favorite albums, one of my favorite Hove albums. So that's definitely something that I can get around with. But ladies and gentlemen,
appreciate it, man.
This was a great episode. A-Ward, again, I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can have you on in the future.
Problem,
and A-Ward versus Bill Collector in Philadelphia in 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be another battle before the end of the year after that. So
yeah, definitely.
So we'll
go hit up imaward.com. imaward.com. That's the website. Follow me on all social media there. Click the links, music, all that good stuff, man.
ladies and again, follow everybody that's in the Four Horsemen, Saga, Street Hymns, Loso, all of those guys. But
Definitely.
for A Ward, my name is Hunter Foreman. This has been the Flight 96 podcast. Thank you.